Shalom, shalom, Israel. This is Brother Amos with the Watchman for Israel. First and foremost, we're going to give all praises to Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shai, to the brothers pushing his truth and strong sincerity, laboring on the highways and byways, making their body a living sacrifice, doing all they can for the hopeful elect, making their election sure. I want to give y'all a strong shalom. Much love to you all. Continue to endure. To the sisters holding it down in the household, reverencing their husbands, taking care of the children, being a teacher of good things. To the younger women, I want to give y'all a strong shalom. To the young men and women coming out of this world, forsaking the ways of this world, and continuing in the path of our righteous forefathers and foremothers, and keeping the law, statutes, and commandments, brotherly love, faith in the Lord, and charity and alms. I want to give y'all a strong shalom as well. Continue to endure, right? So I wanted to read this. I wanted to read Mark chapter 8 and verse 34, right? And then I'm going to go back to that LeBron James tweet that I just had up. And when he had called the people unto him with his disciples also, he said unto them, whosoever will come after me, let him deny himself and take up his cross and follow me. For whosoever will save his life shall lose it, but whosoever shall lose his life for my sake and the gospel's, the same shall save it. For what shall it profit a man if he shall gain the whole world and lose his own soul? Or what shall a man give in exchange for his soul? Whosoever therefore shall be ashamed of me and of my words in this adulterous and sinful generation, of him also shall the Son of Man be ashamed when he cometh in the glory of his Father with the holy angels. Right? So the reason I read that, because I saw this tweet yesterday by LeBron James, who also goes by King James, right? You know, the monikers that they put on these celebrities to give them the that status to feel like they're above the rest of the people, right? So this is what he said, right? So this was 6/22/21 at 5:20, right? So June 22nd. Which was yesterday. Never thought I'd be talking about this perspective, but I'm really not, Slacky, but I'm not really sure what else you expected. When the higher ups have all come together, their collective, with conspiracies to end my run and send me a message with the owl and the crown, right? So LeBron James is in what they call the so-called Illuminati. That's what they say, right? They say that you sell your soul to the devil, right? But to conform to this way, you have to get down with Esau's programming, right? You have to get down with some of the things that that Esau wants to push out, right? We all seen LeBron James in the dress, right? When he did the commercial dress as the lady from Progressive, right? You got to follow a notion that the NBA or whatever you sell out for puts in front of you. You got to follow that narrative to continue to be higher up, right? To continue to be above the rest if you want to be in that superstar status, right? So that's an ungodly act, man, right? Let's go to Isaiah chapter 31. Woe to them that go down to Egypt for help and stay on horses and trust in chariots because they are many, and their horsemen because they are very strong. They look not unto the Holy One of Israel, neither seek the Lord. Right? So this is what the people do, right? They turn to the so-called white man because his face is on the money, right? They threaten them to take away their $1 million contracts, right? We want to keep having these niggas playing basketball, not worry about seeking the Lord, right? That's more distractions that our people look up to. And then, in a sense, they're making our young brothers and our young sisters idolize these people, right? It turns into idolatry, right? You set these people on posters on your wall, on the what do they used to be called? The fat heads, right? They make fat heads for these athletes, right? So what they do is they have a continual process, a continual cycle to make our people want to be infatuated with these athletes and with these celebrities, right? Which in turn they get money to continue to persuade Israel to go to the opposite side, right? LeBron James pushes all these Christmas commercials, Thanksgiving, right? All these things that the so-called white man forces him to do, right? And he just said when the higher ups have all come together as a collective with conspiracies to end my run and send me a message, right? So he knows what's coming, right? They got to find a way to keep this man on a leash, right? Let's go to First Maccabees, right? We go to First Maccabees, chapter 1. So like First Maccabees 1, we're going down to verse 11. And in those days went there out of Israel wicked men who persuaded many, saying, let us go and make a covenant with the heathen that are round about us, right? So LeBron James, when Joe Biden was running, he endorsed Joe Biden, right? He was outspoken about Donald Trump, yes. But at the end of the day, he told people to follow. They did the vote or die back in 2008, right? These are wicked men because they're persuading our people to continue in the ways of Esau, continue in the ways of Babylon the Great, instead of telling our people, look, something's not right. You can't tell me that you've never heard that you're an Israelite in this life, right? That would be a bold-faced lie, right? You got Kendrick Lamar was telling our people, he dropped Bible verses. You had Kodak, right? You got the men on the street corners. You know, we got a whole camp in Cleveland, right? Camps in LA, you got camps in Miami. There's camps all around the damn world, right? So they know what's up. They know we the chosen people. But these are wicked men who want to persuade our people to continue in the ways of Babylon the Great, right? Continue in the ways that are comfortable to them, right? Which is his heaven, which is also his hell. Salaki, which is also his hell, right? And these are what our people are continuing to do day in and day out, day in and day out, day in and day out, right? They persuade these young men and women to focus on the dream of an everlasting society instead of coming back to serving the Lord, right? Saying, let us go and make a covenant with the heathen that are round about us, for since we departed from them, we have had much sorrow, right? You know, and then you got all these so-called people being called radical, right? They separate themselves from them, right? LeBron wants to stay in that limelight. He wants to stay, what can you say, top tier. He want to be an A-list celebrity forever, right? Which he's probably going to end up doing, right? LeBron James is ran by money, right? LeBron James is no longer a person. He's a corporation. So this device pleased them well, that certain of the people were so forward within that they went to the king who gave them license to do after the ordinance of the heathens, right? Whereupon they built a place of exercise at Jerusalem according to the custom of the heathens, right? And that's what we do. We build these gymnasiums so we can be like the heathens, man, because we feel like this is the top of the top of the top. The so-called white man is the cream of the crop. He's the pinnacle of society, right? Not knowing that this is a whole orchestrated plan to continue to bring your people down, right? If you go back to the early NBAs, right, in the 60s, they started letting so-called African Americans play, right? Israel came into the NBA in the 60s, right? Early 50s, late 60s, what started going on then, right? The desegregation movement, right? You had Martin Luther King, I Have a Dream speech, March on Selma, all these different rallies to try to get us to be equal like the so-called white man, right? This is a huge orchestrated plot to continue to keep our people in sin and depending on the so-called white man and looking at the so-called white man like he's not the devil that the Bible speaks of, right? Like he's not the, how can I say it? He's not the one who's going to bring the end of this world. Like 2nd Esdras 6 and 9 shows, for Esau is the end of the world and Jacob is the beginning of it that follows, right? So you can't be the beginning of something if you're stuck on the old ways that you're so used to, right? If you're coddling the person who put you in this captivity, you're coddling that person to try to hold them to a standard that they don't need to be held up to, right? And made themselves uncircumcised and forsook the holy covenant and joined themselves to the heathen and were sold to do mischief, right? And LeBron James is understanding that he was sold to do mischief. Like that owl doesn't just represent anything, right? You got the so-called Bohemian Grove, right? These secret societies that are ran by these elites, right? He understands that this is coming. He understands that they see that LeBron James is on a decline. So what they're going to do, they're going to try to throw him out, make him the scapegoat, and bring up the next Jake who's going to usher in that new wave, who's going to push our people to get jabbed, right? If you understand what I'm saying, because we can't say too much on the cold cut. They're going to push our people to get the jab. So we just have to be mindful, right? We have to be mindful of what we let our children ingest, right? Let's go to First Maccabees 7 and 50. We'll start at 13. Now the Hasdeans were the first among the children of Israel that sought peace of them. For said they, one that is a high priest of the seed of Aaron is come with this army, and we will do us no wrong. So he spake. Hold on, is this what I wanted? It's like, I don't think this was what I wanted. Might have been 2nd Maccabees 7. Yeah, it was 2nd Maccabees 7. Let me go to it. Well, no, that may not be it either. But at the end of the day, we'll go back to Mark, and I'll end it off with that. I didn't want to make it too long. It was something I wanted to pinpoint on. But I'm going to pinpoint on this and leave it at this. For what shall it profit a man if he shall gain the whole world and lose his soul? Right? What should it gain you if you get millions on top of millions on top of billions of dollars if you don't have any integrity? Right? If your heart's not right with the Lord. Right? Let's get 2 Peter. 2 Peter 3 and verse 11. Right? Or start at 10. But the day of the Lord will come as a thief in the night, in the which the heavens shall pass away with a great noise, and the elements shall melt with fervent heat. The earth also shall melt with the fervent heat, and the earth also in the works that are therein shall be burned up. Seeing then that all these things shall be dissolved, what manner of persons ought you to be in all holy conversation and godliness, looking for and hastening unto the coming of the day of God, wherein the heavens being on fire shall be dissolved, and the elements shall melt with fervent heat. Right? So instead of focusing on monetary things that won't last forever, we should be seeking those things that are above. Right? Everything's going to be dissolved. Everything's going to be destroyed. Right? So what manner of person ought you to be? You should be in all holy conversation. Right? This Colossians 3 and 2. Set your affection on things above, not on things of this earth. Right? So don't sit here and fantasize about being the top athlete, about being the richest so-called African American. Right? These things mean nothing towards your salvation. Right? Focus on how you can please the Lord. Focus on how you can magnify the name of Yahweh Shem Yahushai. Focus on how you can do all things to glorify the nation of Israel in the name of Yahweh Shem Yahushai. Right? Focus on these things. Set your affection on things above, not on this earth. Right? The longer you focus on this earth, the more you're going to be carnally minded. And the carnal mind brings forth death. So we got to be spiritual beings. Don't get caught in this lifestyle that of the rich and famous, having these people put it in your face like you're nothing, right? LeBron James is telling you what's going to happen, right? He knows that it's a intricate plot to bring him down, right? He's sold out to the devil, right? So you be mindful if you're in that position to keep your eyes focused on the kingdom to come. This earth is only but for a short time, and it's only going to abide for a short time. And we hence and look for the kingdom to come. With that, I say shalom.